I meant to get this video done last night, but the movie ended around midnight, so I was deadbeat tired. And also, I wanted my thoughts to at least marinate for a little bit because, man, leaving the theater, I had no idea what to think of the movie. But now that I actually collected my thoughts, I'm gonna just give my very controversial take on this. So get your pitchforks ready, burn your torches, and get ready for a lynching for me. I thought this movie was fine. Race swapping aside, I felt like I want to say Halle Berry, but that's a different actress. Haley Berry, I believe her name is. She actually, I mean, she has a great singing voice. She's in terms of singing and acting out as Ariel. There's no half-assing it. She does a great job. Given the material she's working with, she does a great job. In fact, on the human land, when she's, with Prince Eric, which I will talk about in just a few, when she's smiling and, her curiosity's, running rampant, I gotta say that was just straight up adorable because that's who Ariel was in the original. She was just a very adorably curious human mermaid siren. I don't know what else to call it. But she was fine. In fact, I'd say she was probably the one standout performance next to Melissa McCarthy's Ursula. She was also pretty good. I know they also had another actress in mind. Granted, it's not the actress I would choose for Ursula, but I'm glad that Melissa McCarthy's in it. She's actually pretty good in this. Prince Eric, at least he has somewhat of a character in this. He's not just a generic plank of wood. You do get, some type of character with him. You get a story out of him. And he's not just your generic plank of wood that doesn't do much. I know a lot of people are gonna get mad at me for this movie, but quite frankly, I don't care. This movie's fine. I'm not gonna say this movie's good. I'm not even gonna say it's great. It's just a okay, fine, serviceable movie. In fact, the best way I can describe this movie is it's just like the Beauty and the Beast live action remake, where it's unnecessary, it was unneeded, it was totally a cash grab. It's literally shot for shot remade too. It's told in the exact same way. It slows things down the way they shouldn't be slowed down. It speeds things up the way it shouldn't be sped up. And that's unfortunate because, and again, I went in with an open mind. I did not want to go in thinking I was going to hate this movie because I already spent $12 on an IMAX ticket. So I was just like, well, let's make the most of this $12 and go in with a little bit of optimism. And I'm glad that I did because this movie was actually decent. In terms of complaints, yes, this is very unnecessary. This is a remake that was not needed. Your life will not be complete. I mean, your life will be complete if you live without it. That's what I meant to say. So, in terms of criticisms, I have a lot. My biggest comes from the realism I should say, with all the, underwater stuff. Disney opts for, especially now, more realism than just, with the Lion King remake. They're guilty of this, where they wanted to make it more realistic with lions and everything, but here's the issue. Lions don't talk. They don't emote. So, that's why the cartoon worked. You got emotions out of them. And it was a cartoon, so you can suspend your disbelief. But in live action, and you're trying to make it realistic, and you're making them talk, it's not real. No matter how impressive your effects are, it's just not real. And this movie follows the same fate. Flounder is just, I'm just gonna say, he's just a fish. A talking fish. Like, it's literally as if they just got a fish that happens to talk. And it's just as awkward and as uncanny as you might think. I mean, it's not a good look for Flounder. I mean, it's just not a good look at all. Yeah, apparently there's also, a black queen as well playing Prince Eric's mom. She's okay in it. Again, I'm not going to comment more than that on it because, she's not given that much, so I'm not going to spend too much time on her. But I do like what they're going for. Again, this movie tries. It tries a little bit. And I give them credit for trying. The underwater effects just did not get any better. There are only a handful of moments, particularly with the Under the Sea musical number. That was the most colorful it's gotten. But otherwise, most of the sequences, it's just murky. It's just dark and murky, and I have aquaphobia a little bit, I can't stand deep ocean stuff. But with this movie, I was fine until it got to the much darker sea areas, like the shipwreck or Ursula's little, kingdom in the little skeleton of a crocodile. I couldn't tell what animal that was or what creature that was. It looked like something straight out of, Greek mythology, if anything. It might be the crocodile from Peter Pan and Wendy or something. I don't know. But that in particular, my aquaphobia just really started acting up. I mean, it's just not even a pretty picture. Even near the end, again, this is exactly like the original, except it adds new scenes. I'll talk about the songs in a little bit, but it adds new scenes that are hit and miss. They're not really needed, but I'm glad that they added them in there. And yes, near the end, you do get that final battle between Ursula, Prince Eric, and Ariel. Ariel saves the day, it's whatever. It's fine. It's Disney for you. They're gonna always have a female save the day, which is fine. Truly, it's fine if you have a female save the day. Because she was actually a mermaid that would be willing to do that. At least that's how I saw it. If that's not how you guys saw it, well then, that's fine. But yeah, near the end, I mean, it's just as short as the original, where they fight for literally 5 minutes before Ursula finally just dies. But yes, it's during a dark, rainy storm, like in the original, and it is murky, it is hard to see. And by that point, I was kind of done with the movie. I mean, I wanted them to wrap it up. And yeah, the ending just kind of dragged for me. Maybe because I was just looking to get out of there as quickly as possible. But yes, it does drag near the end for me. They criminally got rid of the chef song, which still pisses me off, because that was a song that I really liked and a sequence I really liked in the original. In fact, dare I say, there were no laughs in my theaters. That didn't make sense. There were no laughs at all in my theater. No laughs at all. And this was a fairly decently packed, granted, just like I wished for, no children present, not even parents with their children, thankfully just with a bunch of adults and teenagers that are obviously there to make out. I've been there too, but please don't make out in the theater. Public announcement. Please just watch the movie. If you want to make out during a movie, go to your own house. I've been there. I've done that. Let's keep it at home, you guys. Anyway. And yeah, no one in my theater laughed at all. There was only one moment where where I even got like at least a smirk in, because I get the humor they were going for, and it got at least a smirk. But that was because it was a cute moment between Ariel and Prince Eric. Um, his butler especially, I really liked how, in the original, he was against, marrying Ariel. He was always on the fence, and when Ursula shows up disguised, of course, he's like, well, this must be the right girl. They replaced that with his mother. And I liked how the butler wasn't outright the villain. In fact, he saw Prince Eric and Ariel, and he was like, well, I can see that he's happy with her, and that's really nice that they didn't make him an outright villain. They do hint towards a relationship near the end with the butler and the mother, but it's not even fully developed, so you're just like, oh, well, that happened. In terms of the new songs, two of them are pretty forgettable. One, Prince Eric sings about Ariel. That one's fine, but compared to the third one, the third one, oh man, that almost ruined the movie completely for me. But then Ariel gets a new song, which is pretty good. And again, she has a great singing voice, so I'm glad that she got another song out of it. Awkwafina. Well, I'm going to talk about her for a minute. She's a fine actress when she's given the right material. She was fine in Renfield. She was pretty good in Shang-Chi. She was okay in Jumanji 2, 3, whatever you want to call it. Jumanji The Next Level, I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. She was good there. And there's a bunch of other movies that she's also been pretty good in. But here, look, Scuttle in the original was charming in an annoying, grating type of way. Awkwafina was just annoying in an annoying way. I could not stand Scuttle in this. But one sequence in particular, near the third act, she sings a brand new song, which you can look it up on Disney's, music page. I implore not to, because it is one of the worst songs I've heard. And I was close to leaving the theater. Seriously, it almost just deeply damaged any sort of respect or any sort of positives I had about the movie. And I had quite a few positives in this movie. And yeah, it was terrible. It's called Scuttlebutt, which, given the title, I think you can know how good that song is going to be. Believe me, it's worse than it sounds. It's not a good song at all. And it's a rap song, and it's just horrifically awful. I could not stand it for the life of me. What else? King Triton, in the original, he had like a big booming presence. Like when he got mad, you felt it. Here's another big criticism of mine, not really big, but when he was mad in the original, you got that he was mad. You knew that he was mad. But in this one, he's more of a quiet King Triton. And he's not in this movie a whole lot, which is disappointing because he's a great actor. I mean, he's a great actor. All I know is his first name, Javier. He's a great actor. But yet, he's not in this movie a whole lot. Which is fine. He wasn't in the original a whole lot either. But if you're going to remake it, at least give him some new scenes. In terms of, the argument between, sea creatures and humans, they try to, make an argument out of it like, oh, humans killed your mom, Ariel, so you can't go to the surface. I'm not sure what else they did with the original with that, but to me, I was just tries to draw it's a classic Disney movie where they try to draw a death out of the family just for a little bit of motivation, which is fine, but I did not like it as much as I thought I would because it's your standard Disney formula movie. Your standard Disney formulaic remake. And for that reason, it's fine. It's not great. It's not even good, but it is serviceable. It's entertaining. The water effects, they're something. I mean, at times, it reminds me of Aquaman, but it also reminds me of much better effects when it comes to water. Avatar: The Way of Water, which is probably, I'm already preaching to the choir about that, about those effects. But it's true. Considering that those movies were pretty much released, well, not really. This movie released 5 months after Avatar. But anyway, it's fine. I know I'm gonna get slack for this. I thought it was just fine. It's charming enough. It does its job as being a standard formulaic remake, and that's where I went in with the mindset, with an open mind, knowing exactly what I was gonna get, and I got it. I got the film. I just wish it did something totally new and different. And also, The Lighthouse, if you know what I'm talking about, The Lighthouse House confirmed a theory that I had burning in the back of my head for years to come, and that answered that question for me. Those of you who've seen The Lighthouse know exactly what I'm talking about, and I couldn't get that thought out of my head while watching this movie. But it's a Disney movie, so of course they're not going to go there. But I digress. Movie's fine. I get why people hate it. Don't get me wrong, I hate what Disney is doing. Just, if you're going to race swap a character, or at the very least, if you're going to make a black character, create a different character. Create a different princess. Don't race swap a character. Granted, this worked in their favor with the actress actually being really talented, and at times I completely ignored the fact that she was black, and I just enjoyed her performance. She was great. She was the standout performance in this entire movie. So, yeah. Again, all the biggest criticisms that a lot of people are going to have, don't get me wrong. I agree with all of them. Just in my eyes, this movie was perfectly fine. It's up to you to watch it. In terms of recommendation, if you know what you're getting, you won't be disappointed. But if you're not gonna support Disney, granted, I don't support Disney, even though I supported them last night with this movie. I wanted to see how it was gonna turn out. And I was curious, how are they going to do this? So, to that reason, it's not as bad as people are going to say about it, but it is definitely not as good as definitely a lot of critics claim. One critic in particular, who I will not name because don't go harass that person, and also, I don't want her to find my YouTube channel thinking that I'm crap talking her, which I'm not. But I will for a little bit in here. She gave this movie a very positive review, and she said that if you dislike the movie, then that's a statement on who you are as a person, which, no, that's not true. I didn't like this movie. I thought it was okay. I know I'm making it sound like I'm liking the movie. I don't like it. I thought it was okay. It's entertaining. But if people asked me, did you like this movie? I would say, no. But I'm right in the middle on, thinking it was entertaining. It was serviceable. And so, does that make me a bad person? According to that critic, because I thought the movie was not good, but it was okay. And, this reminds me of the whole argument with the whole Ghostbusters remake. Well, reboot, I should say. Remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it. With Melissa McCarthy, funny enough. Where, if you like the Ghostbusters reboot, you were portraying the original. If you didn't like it, you were a sexist pig. And same with this one. If you didn't like the movie, you're a racist bigot. And if you did like the movie, you're you're betraying the original. Me, my opinion, I'm right down the middle. I thought it was average. It's fine. It's okay. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not even a masterpiece, but it is serviceable. But there you go. There are my thoughts on it. Not sure how many people are going to watch this, but, might as well give my thoughts on it.